Good morning, guys. I decided to just go ahead and do the garden tour today, even though things aren't looking too good. We've literally had so much rain that it has washed all the iron out of the soil, the potted plants. They're just all looking kind of weak and sad. That right there is me reusing pots that some plants came in to put clippings and weeds and stuff, and I just left it there. I'm still dealing with some of that. But I do have some, oh, where'd they go? Seedlings that are really thriving. I'm actually fertilizing everything on a regular schedule now in kind of between a 12 to 14 day schedule. If I go any farther out, they really start to look kind of miserable. This potted peony is at almost the end of its spring flowering days. I have a few more buds, but I don't think they're going to open. That they're done. I don't know if I don't think I had planted that out in the yard. I might have. Not sure. I'm still working on this area. It's all kind of dark and weedy back in there. It's really hard for me to get to it, but I will do what I can as I can. But as you can see, the primroses have decided to have a second flush. Fountain grass starting to kind of decide to come back. It should have already, except that, you know, we've had so much rain and it likes hot, and we haven't really gotten above 70. These are some seedlings that I planted. Actually, not seedlings, seeds. This mum, which is perennial, is starting to bud, and it will bloom sort of a burgundy color in the fall. The Daphne decided to quit sulking and bloom. It's normally covered in bloom all year. It's kind of a perennial and a perennial bloomer. And then we have some blueberries, thanks to Chuck. I would have given up on this. Now, I trimmed the lamia back, and as you can see, it's already breaching the area that I had trimmed. It's just a huge, strong, growing ground cover, covered in blooms. This is a new clematis that we planted. And as you can see, it's completely iron deficient. It's got to have some supplement, which I will try to get to today. Those are some seedlings. This is that massive clematis that's taking over the fence. It's huge, and it's evergreen. Okay, right in front of me right here is viburnum. I have tried to lift a little bit off the ground. I need to take care of this, but it's going to bloom, and I don't want to disturb it while that's happening. This is that Japanese hydrangea. It's not a true hydrangea, it's a vine, but it has lovely lace-like blooms. I'll get close so you can see. It hasn't quite emerged yet, but it's such an interesting plant. Oops, sorry. Underneath it is a little Wigalia. I don't know why the people that lived here before us put that there, but they did. Okay, and then that is a serviceberry, which to me looks like a tree with roses on it. I love it. And behind that, up in the, let me see if I can get over here without tripping. Whoa. That is a beautiful rosemary bush that my daughter and son-in-law brought over. And we have a rose that looks like it's going to try to produce, but again, it's just gasping. It needs iron desperately. And this is one of my favorites. This is a California lilac. It's just covered in little round balls that I'm going to try to see if I can get my camera to focus. I don't think it's going to focus. It's being kind of weird. I think it's the light. And Chuck and I moved that lilac right there. It was in a different location. It was kind of in the way, and this is a better spot for it. So it'll just kind of live here. We'll see if it manages. And there's another viburnum that's starting to put on red berries. See if you can see right there. It'll be beautiful once it's completely covered. And again, I did a little lift on that as well. I don't know if I'm going to get anything from this sulking, mad limelight hydrangea. It was brutalized, and it just decided it was done. I'm not really sure what kind of an insect that is, but I have never seen anything like it. Let me see if I can get this camera to find it. I think we'll just leave him there. Okay. Just sort of an overview of shabby Versailles being quite shabby. That needs to be deadheaded. I just planted the Mexican sage, salvia, a couple weeks ago, and again it's just needs some iron. We do have some buds on the daylilies. There go Harley and Bam Bam. I took the Mandevilla out of the area I had planted it and put it in a pot. They do really well. Really, really well in a pot. So there was a reason for that, and I'll show you in a minute. Emma. Okay, there's the blue fescue. It looks really good. For some reason, it seems to be the only thing really thriving in all this water. Kind of had to tie this peony up. I love that creamy yellow. Isn't that just Absolutely gorgeous. And I brought this pot, or I had Chuck move it out for me, to the Shade Palace. I just needed something there, kind of balance out some of this vista along here. These peonies, I don't know, they're just so heavy. I decided I'm going to let them just do that. And there's the red one. That's why we call this the Shade Palace. It just disappears off into the undergrowth of this massive arba. Okay, and there is the burning bush. I found this little thing out in the landscape, and it didn't bloom last year. I think it was just in the wrong spot. The people that lived here before left it, and it was buried back behind the fatsia tree. And so I brought it out, and it's just adding a little pop of color. Some type of sedum, I think. Very, very bright, or else it needs iron. And there's the Acer. And the new Guara. And just the other day I found that little pink flower down there. I have no idea what this is, but it gets to live here. It's just kind of stationed behind the girl with the ducks. And this is the Big Daddy. Hydrangea. We'll see how it does. I've also lifted underneath there. I need to put some more mulch. And we're about to have some blooms on whatever this strange, rather unique looking lily looking thing is. It's quite tall. There is the hellebore or Lenten rose that I planted in the landscape. I've got one more I need to do the same thing with, but it's in a pot with other plants. And as you can see, that's the fatsia way back in the back behind that euonymus or burning bush. Oh, this guy right here is a viburnum. And these peonies I brought from the front, they were the ones that were getting mauled by overhead water. and they did really well. I mean, they were moved just this year, so I'm quite happy. I've got a lot of weeds I have to deal with. And these two hydrangeas are Annabelle's, and that's where I had the Mandevilla, and I pulled it out and put that white clematis in, and it looks like it's a little anemic as well. I think we're about done blooming, the purple one. That hibiscus has just been a huge, huge producing addition back here. I love it. I left it in the pot. I think I mentioned that the last time, so I can just pull it up and put it in the garage this winter. The kiwi is doing really well. I love the leaf color change that we go through from green to white to pink. The other burning bush, and I lifted up the dwarf lilac and separated the Wigalia and that little dwarf lilac. They were kind of growing together. And the daisies are just about to daisy. Each one, which are just above waist high on me, has a bud. They all have a bud. I'm leaving the campanella there. It might take over, which I kind of hope it will. This area has got, I've got to do a lot of work back here. It just it needs a lot. This is where I've decided to keep that. I have that I can distinguish. I have 3, I think 4 hummingbirds that visit here. But you really have to look to see the differences. Okay. Oh, I forgot to show you. Snapdragons are still blooming. And underneath the canopy of the snapdragons, I found a clump of ornamental strawberries. So I pulled those up and put them in a pot. We'll see how they do. So there's the, I think it's pronounced Pieris japonica. And as you can see, we've got little berries. I love these little delicate leaves. I think they're so pretty. And that's the other hellebore. And I don't know what this is. If you can help me out, it just appeared in this pot. I have no idea what it is. I think it might have been a gift from one of our bird friends. I'm going to leave it and see what the heck that is. Our dahlias are covered in buds. I don't want to move them too much, but there are, on all 3 bulbs, there are buds. So I think we're going to have some beautiful flowers. The lamb's ear has just recently decided to become a tall plant, and as you can see, it's about to bloom. Everything in that oblong planter was something I found in the landscape. I decided to just have a in the landscape planter. And these cute little dahlias are going to town. These are some more seedlings I need to put out in the landscape. They're lupin, I believe, and they could be a mix of bells of Ireland and lupin. I don't know, I'll just have to be surprised. There's the little strawberry that I moved. This is my nursery over here. This is a tomato that I planted. I literally planted a tomato. These are my little herbs. They're not doing too well, and I think it's because they're too cold. I take them in the house, I bring them back outside. There's just not a spot where they're going to be warm enough. This is the red nasturtium. I've got one coming up. And the rest of these are also those nasturtiums that I planted. But like I said, it's just not warm enough. And this is just a mixture of different types of seeds that I planted. So these are the deck plants. Oh, that little rose. And this, while it looks like corn, is some type of plant. I can't remember what I put there. Maybe, oh, it could be bachelor's buttons. I hope you enjoyed the tour. If you have any suggestions or questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.